Hello and welcome back to Season 2, Week 1 of Prep Phase League. Right now we are jumping over to the pick ban draft of... let's see, we got Rude versus Trash. Sorry, let me fix that real quick.
Yep, Trash being home team, choosing to play as usual on Flyaway, which meant that Rude originally banned out Rask, and again, Trash if you have stuck with us at all, realize or automatically knew that Helio was getting banned out from Trash. So the first pick coming from Rude was Lockwood, once again, sticking with those comforts. Hopefully we'll see him land a little bit more damage last time. And then once again, to be expected, Trash pulling out the Asana and the Gray.
And of course, Trash did go with their map pick since they were home as Flyaway Freighter, one of the few teams that kind of claims that as their home map.
And Quark coming in for the second pick for Rude, which is something we don't necessarily see a whole heck of a lot of, but that might tether that I was talking about before the last game. Could potentially expect to see that come through.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see some of these, what we refer to as non-traditional mods or compositions start to come through a little bit more because there are a lot of strengths to them. We just don't see them come around enough to actually see that strength kind of come through. And of course, Trash going with ultra traditional, just trademark Trash composition, Dr. Finn, Asana, Gray, and Celeste. We've seen them pull this out numerous times, and of course, Rude going with a Lockwood, Quark, Grimo, and Titus. This should definitely be interesting to see how they play this against Trash's probably stronger composition that they have available. Of course, they didn't get the Lockwood or the Rask, but they got two fairly equivalent characters.
You'd say that Asana's on par with Rask?
We could say that Asana has been on par with Rask, but when it kind of boils down to it, Asana is really second best to Rask. Rask is the top of the line, and I may be a little biased in saying this as a Rask main, but when it can't get Rask, I'm going to go with Asana. She has the next best survivability and next best utility kit.
Right. No, I definitely agree. She might be a little bit more focused on helping out the team, slightly more than Rask is, but yeah, Rask S tier, Asana top tier, then everybody else below that. You think? Well, you had mentioned that you think that there's two equivalents with against Rask and Lockwood over on Trash Team. Are you saying that Celeste would be your equivalent for Lockwood? I know she's kind of a bit of a power pick too, what with the way she can steal stuff and the huge damage coming from the ultimate.
Well, I mean, either one are really semi-decent replacements for Lockwood. You've got Gray, who has excellent escapes, really good range, and then of course Celeste once again has a great escape and can do really just impressive damage with her ultimate. Whereas the Gray ultimate isn't quite on par. So Celeste would probably be a better replacement for Lockwood, as we've seen in the past. If one team can't get Lockwood, their next just kind of automatic option is going to be to go for Celeste. She also has the ability to split her damage out for up to two different targets. So that kind of makes it to where you have the spray and pray kind of option with a maximum of two targets. You can do 38 damage with Might. Same thing with Lockwood. If you take the right mods, you can do up to 38 damage, just kind of a standard.
Mm-hmm. And she reliably has Might. Granted, there's only one Might power up in this map, similar to Evos, which we have not yet seen today. But it can be expected that she'll have it more often than not.
So it looks like we are loading in here. Let's see here, get the game up, see who's playing who. We got Avaki on Gray, Craner being the frontliner here. And let's see, make sure we got these names on here correctly.
Yeah, we can expect, no matter how the game goes at around turn 10, if Rude doesn't have a careful eye on their positioning, they'll get hugely punished from the Finn Gray ultimate combo. So they got to be a little bit careful of how they go about things. Otherwise, they could potentially give them a run for their money. I was pleasantly surprised at how well they had done against Cookie Cutters, even though they weren't able to squeak out a victory.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to be meeting up here pretty soon. Of course, we do have Wooly down here going for just a little bit of vision on the south side with everybody else about to meet up here. I am a huge fan of the fact that Trash, everybody except for Wooly, is running a red and black theme.
Isn't Wooly usually their tank? Or
Craner
I
has
guess I was
been,
mistaken.
yeah, Craner has pretty normally been the tank in the games that I've been watching, but I do know that him and
Oh,
Wooly
okay.
do kind of switch it up a little bit. They don't necessarily have set classes that they stick to.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not going nuts. So
So,
this actually, they may have gotten the positional advantage on Trash. Surprisingly, they just probably didn't expect the everybody run into them. So might be able to get some good damage down before Asana is able to disrupt them too heavily.
of course, we do have Skiro stuck out there in the middle, pretty much surrounded. Of course, Craner running right into the mix, dealing 25 to Iyajuki, who is then going to launch a couple mines out, missing because of the dash. Vaki dealing 34 to Skiros, another 28 to Skiros, done by the smoke. And he is then going to in turn deal 26 to Avaki. A bounce shot doing another 36 to Avaki coming from Lockwood. And of course, they're going to spread up at this point a little bit. So,
Yeah, and so now because of the cover coming in from Celeste, they don't really have any idea for sure where the members of Trash went. They certainly don't know that Celeste is here. They can't quite tell exactly where Gray might be, so they're really just shooting into the bush and hoping for the best at this point.
This toxin would make just
yeah, and of course, there comes the weak out with the double dart from Avaki. We've got Skid Row putting his tether onto Grimo, and that spray and pray only catching Sophia while a trap does 38 to Skiros. And then another 34 being laid on the Skiros from Gray. And then the Eels go into Earth Rat plus another 24 in cover damage. And of course that double root coming out from Craner, keeping both Grimo and Quark in place.
Yeah, this is a bit rough already. If Craner is able to 2v1 the support and firepower over there, and Titus is getting kited around the map fairly well.
Yeah, I would
It's
say
not looking the best for Rude.
Titus not in a great position at this point.
I don't think he's at the point where he needs to be worried about dying quite yet, but again, he's not getting the rounds down range, not dealing. He missed his attack last time. Earthrat didn't get as much damage done as he probably wanted to on the spray and pray. But
Of course, we have a whole bunch of shields coming out here. Skiro's throwing that dagger out. And a little bit of healing coming off Skid Row from that tether, who is then going to catch the eels coming off of Lockwood. 25 damage coming from Dr. Finn, and 19 cover damage on Earthrat with another 13 in cover damage on the Earthrat. 32 damage coming from Quark going on to Craner, who's then going to eat some damage along with Grimo from the swipe. Craner going to get knocked back into place from the Big Bang. And then, of course, we got Wooly, who's going to take a little bit of trap damage from Lockwood.
yeah, that Big Bang probably didn't quite get what they wanted done. Might have wanted to push her more to the right, more towards the center of the map. That way she wouldn't be able to slice up everybody still. But I understand what the objective is, what he's been trying to do. And this Titus still has to be a little bit worried about how he's gonna win this duel against Gray.
And of course, Craner now well protected with a 40-point bubble. Iujoki catching 22 in health. And then we have Titus dashing through that health bubble, but now is going to have a 5-turn cooldown because he didn't hit an enemy. Craner taking a little bit of damage, followed by 38 in damage, 32 from Skid Row, so about 70 in damage. And of course, he's going to do a swipe, hitting 3 people and taking Skiros down to single digit in health. I'm sorry, 22 health.
Yeah, this ult's already being up. Oh, 2 ults already being up for both Finn and Asana. That's just how many targets they've been regularly hitting with all their abilities. That last bubble was huge, hitting 3. Asana hit 3 with her swipe. These early ults might actually decide the game already here on turn 7.
So it looks like we got Quark doing an overcharge. Skiros finally using that shield. 22 in health going to Iujoki, who is then going to jump out of there, causing Craner to miss his dash. And Craner then going to take 32 in damage from Quark. Skiros going to miss his swipe because he was his target dashed out of there. All 3 of them going to get hit by that drone, and only Quark taking 22 in damage from the 3 smoke grenades thrown out. Safil taunting his 3-man ultimate, if I'm seeing this correctly. 2-man ultimate, bringing both of them in, doing 30 damage to both Titus and Skid Row, leaving them at 12 and 21 health respectively.
Quark's in a little bit of trouble, being at 12 health and already inside of a trap and in the Grey Drum. Expect a dash here. It's also interesting to note, for people who are watching the play just to see how the top 2 teams play, this Finn has not moved very much at all the last 3 turns. It's basically been hiding that cover the entire time.
So Earthrat taking 34 from Gray, Safil taking 26 from Skiros, and then going to answer with 25 damage back to him, leaving him at 11 health. Grimo is going to throw out 2 mines, not hitting anybody, and Skid Row using that tether to do 22 to Craner, and of course a spray and pray coming out from Earthrat with no vision, not hitting anything.
And that's just like I was talking about at the end of the last game. Wooly decided to use his dash to deny that HP from the Gremlicians. So again, some people prioritize the dashes over health. He decided that the health was worth it over the dash.
And then we got Wally throwing his shield out along with Craner, who's going to double shield it up, actually. Vaki throwing out weak onto both Quark and Earthrat. Earthrat is going to catalyst out of there, while Quark is going to use his dash to get behind Wooly. We got a sweep coming in from Craner doing 26. And of course a Splort coming from Iujoki, who is then also going to throw a couple mines out into the Tunnel of Love. Avaki throwing out a dart but not hitting anybody, and we've got Safil finishing off Skiros with a spray, who's also going to be eating a little bit of that ultimate along with Iujoki, who is then going to die with a final swipe of 25 coming from Craner.
Yep, that's pretty rough. So obviously this particular Gremlicians is not running no downsides, since presumably he would have hit the 2 champions right next to him.
That's what it appears.
Yeah. So now, it's hard to say how Rude will get back into this, because there's still a whole lot of people at full health at this point over on Trash's side. Or getting there.
So yeah, Earthrat dealing 38 to Wooly, with another 32 coming from Quark, leaving him at 50 health. And of course we got that Grey Drone coming in and finishing off Quark, and Wooly doing 28 just to make sure. Rude is in a not the greatest position here. They've only got Earthrat still over there in the corner with 34 health, while the rest of Trash is looking quite healthy themselves.
Yep. The dash is up on Lockwood, but he does tend to like to hold it, as shown in the last couple games, for at least 2 targets. So it'd be surprised if he uses it. Oh, no. I was mistaken.
Oh yeah, Earthrat
Gets
using
Catalyst
that.
out, though.
Yeah, use that ultimate, but of course, Wally did predict that and used his catalyst to get out of there. Avaki trying to predict where he would stop and did miss, but of course, now Skiros is moving up into position to try and back him up.
And Avaki on Gray has his caged ult up. Might wait to see about the combo. Oh no, Finn's only at 2/5 energy, so might just use the cage just as the tool it's intended as instead of a combo piece. At this point, they can definitely afford to use it as it comes up.
Wally throwing out a trap while taking 26 damage from Skiros and another 36 from Lockwood there. That bubble actually did save his life this turn. Gonna deal out 5 and cover damage to Skiros. And here comes that Gray ultimate dealing 15 to Earthrat and Skiros. And then Skiros gonna take 22 while Lockwood is going to take a death from those smoke bombs. Skiros then walks through the cage wall, landing right in the middle of a trap.
So he's going to be getting hit by the trap and the drone, unless he dashes out. And I could potentially see him dashing out into this Finn, or even the Gray. No, yeah, I should have vision on the Gray because of Gremlicians. So, be interesting to see how he decides to try to survive this.
So yeah, looks like they did do a combo, just not the one we were expecting. Here comes that swipe. He doesn't have vision, so he just took a guess, taking 30 damage from that trap, along with 12 from that drone overhead. We got Safil taking 32 damage from Quark, Iojoki taking 34, and then 22 from Team Trash. Iojoki gonna respond with 22 to Avaki, and laying a mine down out there trying to catch someone. And of course, looks like Quark did break that tether moving just a little bit too far away from Safil that turn.
Yeah, we're trying to get the healing down on his tanks, and at this point, if they lose one more person, that's it for them in this particular round. So might be wanting to come over here to ult him, might be coming over to just start up a new healing tether over him, even though Gray is off on his own now in the 2v1 up top.
And there comes that dash doing 19 to Avaki, who's going to respond with 34 to the face. Wally grabbing up all the health bubbles he can, while Craner's going to use that root to keep Iojoki in place, while Safil deals 25 damage to him. He's going to respond with his Grimo ultimate, dealing 75 damage split between Craner and Safil, but while they are both at half health, he is still not in the greatest spot, having been rooted outside of cover and an exposed bush.
Yep, so Celeste has her ult up again. It's hard to tell where exactly, if we want to use it now or if she'll want to wait to go up and get in position to help out to ensure that this Gremlicians goes down. But at this point, it's a 3v2 and a 2v1, which is not the kind of position Red wants to be in, because a 2v1 can end the game again for them pretty quickly, having one stock left.
Yeah, it looks like Skiros is going to take 12 health, plus another 32 to bring him back up to 107. Iojoki is going to get out of town with a bombing run, doing 20 damage to Craner on the way out, but taking a little bit back through Retribution. He's going to splort where he lands to try and cut off his escape. Skiros is going to go ahead and use his ultimate on just Avaki, dealing 50 damage and rooting him in place. Avaki responds with 34 damage onto Skiros, while Wally does 38 to Skid Row. Craner's swipe misses because of the earlier bombing run, and of course Safil's going to take a little bit of mine damage there, also leaving him weakened.
This is almost certainly an ultimate coming in from Celeste, and if Gray wants to, can help get some damage down to make sure that this Titus dies, but her dash is on cooldown, and she can get fairly far away if she wants to help make this 2v1 top into the 3v1 top.
Yeah, and it looks like Wally does have his ultimate. Iojoki, of course, is going to use his catalyst to get out of town, though. Safil still hitting him for 15 with a wide spray. Skid Row looks like he did use his healing catalyst, but then takes 50 along with Skiros from the ultimate coming out of Wally.
Yeah, this is it. Gremo has no more escapes. He's face to face with one of the best duelists in the game, Gray, and yeah, that's it's gonna be it. Probably, maybe they'll be able to pull out a one kill to make sure it's not a shutout, get the one down, but
They would really have to focus on probably Avaki singularly in order to do that. I don't see how they could possibly get enough damage onto him with him being in that tunnel. Not to mention the fact he just catalysted out to safety. And of course, Iyojoki still took the death there. Looks like he's going to use his big bang on Wally just to knock him around a little bit, but so much damage coming out, resulting in a double kill. 6-0, Trash takes it.
Yep. This is why they were #1 last season. Makes sense. Very dominating performance. Just outmaneuvering, outpositioning, outdamaging.
And let's take a look at, I mean, just look at the difference in numbers here, specifically on the damage. You didn't have anybody breaching 300 damage. In fact, the closest was Iyojoki on Grimo. Next closest was Quark, their support, at 220. Whereas everybody on the enemy team did over 300 damage, including Safil, which was their support, actually beating out Craner, as Asana, who we saw, can actually put out a severe amount of damage just by herself.
Yeah. Those twin Finn ults definitely adding to the damage numbers for that champion. And he's able to get both of them multi-man ultimates.
And Walilol just doing insane amounts of damage as Celeste there, hitting multiple targets with his ultimate both times he was able to use it.
Constantly denying resources. So this is a team that values the pickups and whatnot over their individual resources, because in that particular case, it's denying the opponents, right? So they're constantly able to deny the mites, deny the healths. It was very well done play by Celeste.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to be getting ready here. Let's just go ahead and jump in there. But yeah, definitely an interesting game. So where do you think it was exactly that that Rude kind of started to fall behind, because they were kind of holding their own for the first 7 rounds or so?
I would almost certainly say when the ultimates were coming in for Trash. They got their ultimates so much quicker. Their energy development was just so much faster. I seem to recall in the tournaments we had before the PPL league, the other sorts of leagues and stuff that we did, they always very highly prioritize energy gain of one sort or another. And they did it this time. They made sure they got as many AoE abilities down as possible. Even if it only hit 2, sometimes it would accidentally hit 3, and it just paid off. So like I say, the early Finn ults to just disrupt Rude, along with Asana, just the threat of having her ult up, made it seem like, or would get into Rude's thought process that, oh, she's just going to jump out and like do damage and heal somebody anyhow. So just that combination already got out of hand pretty quickly. Like you say, around turn 7 was when it.
Yeah, and like you were saying, Trash is that team, and they've stated themselves many times that they prefer to, support their team and see what's better for their team over what would be better for their individual character. So I think that's really kind of one of the key components to their success, is they are actually playing this as a team game 100%.
Yeah, and definitely saw it with Avaki on the Gray. Yeah, on the Gray. They like to lure whoever they're in their duels with away from the team, and they don't necessarily focus on killing them. So that's Celeste and Gray, I think it was, were fighting that Titus. Celeste bailed. Gray was still over there, was still fighting Titus, and then she just left. Whereas what that meant that Titus had to spend a time getting back into the fight, and made him do that arguably desperation dash into that huge AoE damage.
Right, right. And this is something that we've brought up before, where Trash swears it's not an active thing that they do, but we consistently see them lure 1 to 2 characters away and then
Yeah.
dash back to the rest of their team to just deal out massive damage, but we can't get them to admit that they're actually doing that. It just seems to happen, I guess.
Well, admit it or not, that's what they do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that is
let's be
exactly what they
honest.
do. So, and I
Yeah.
think that is probably, it's something that happens almost in every single one of their matches where they completely sweep it out. That happens at some point during the match. And of course, looks like we've got Rude picking Cloudspire. So it seems like, I'm not sure if they're doing this on purpose, but it is kind of slightly recognized that when it comes to Trash, they seem to always have the weakest start on this map. Every time someone has gotten close to beating Trash, of course, it hasn't happened yet, but every time someone's gotten what is to be considered close to beating Trash, it's always happened on Cloudspire. So it's kind of considered to be that if you want to fight Trash, you want to fight Trash on Cloudspire.
Yeah, and so they're picking up pretty much the same composition over on Trash's end, with the Gray, Celeste, Asana, Quark, those picks in that order as first pick, and then Rude going with the Rask, Finn, Zuki, Blackburn. So they're coming out. Rude's coming out of the whole comfort pit thing that it seems like they've been doing for the last couple of games, and they have started trying to establish a bit more of a combo presence with. I mean, Zuki is always a huge combo piece if you're able to get some roots down. And
When
then the Finn and Rask charge bubble combination is a thing that we can expect to see as well.
Well, and I really like what's happened here. We've got Rude taking Rask and Finn, which are two of Trash's favorites. Of course, Rask, anytime somebody can get that, I think it's really just everybody's favorite frontliner. And then Finn, what they're doing is they're forcing Trash to go ahead and take Quark, which doesn't see as much field play. And, of course, Trash, when they were doing their tier lists, they actually rated Aurora to be the weakest just because she has the least versatility compared to the other supports. And with the fact that they banned Helio right off, they really left Trash with Quark as their only option to pick support. So we're pretty much seeing Trash seems to pick the exact same composition almost every time with 1 to 2 variations on it, depending on what the enemy team picks or bans.
Well, we are seeing a little bit of variation because there was a time where they would take Rask all the time. If it was up, that was an auto first pick. But they went with Gray this time around. They let Rask go through to the second round, and Rude picked it up.
Yeah, and we
They
saw
may be working on the.
we saw
Sorry, go
some of
ahead.
that happened in the tournament as well, where they would let Lockwood go just because they thought having Asana was a more important pick to make sure that they had a solid frontliner.
Right. Yeah, because they do not respect Garrison, Rampart, or Titus in the least. So
it looks like they
yeah,
are readying up here.
they may also be working at it from another point of view because Rask is so consistently banned all the time, and he's not been really that often in YOLO queue these days just because of seeing him out of the tournament meta, I think. They might be working on the assumption that Rude doesn't even have that much practice on Rask. So it's like, yeah, sure, take him. We don't expect that it's going to be much of a problem. So they just go with the Gray and go with the Celeste.
So yeah, it was actually, especially with Wooly playing tonight, because I know he is a Rask player as well. In fact, if you go check out the the guide that they threw up for Tryon on the website, he gives his opinions on Rask.
4, 3.
And
Oh, what did he say?
well, there we go. Okay, looks like they're
We're having a remake.
yeah, they technical difficulties with the custom game here.
Well, while we're waiting, why don't you enlighten the audience about what he had said in his article about Rask?
Well, let me pull it up because as a Rask player myself, I was actually a little. I had my own point of view, but have since come around to take a look at some of the things he had mentioned and was like, maybe he knows what he's talking about. So let's see here.
Just maybe.
Yeah, just maybe. Here we go. Team Trash teaches tactics. So we got Wololo on Trash. So he's saying that you should take Primal Fury, which is the 1 point energy mod. He basically goes with a straight up energy build. While I can understand the point of view for that, but personally for me, I think Rask is more of like the big scary monster you throw into the enemy team to disrupt them, not necessarily doing a lot of damage. And with the Blood Rage mod on your ultimate, you don't really need much extra energy. You get so much already. So I prefer to take slow on the basic just because it's such a hindrance. Anything you can do to hinder the enemy team, just so much better. Of course, you generally have to give up the ability to do the multi-fling to do this because, pain tolerance, that was one of the ones I took from Wally. I was like, okay, I'm going to try this out. Pain tolerance allows you to take 85, do your heal at 85 points of health instead of 60.
Yeah.
And before that, I'd always taken Unstoppable just as utility. But I've since kind of fallen in love with Pain Tolerance. That was definitely a good pick coming from him. But really was just surprised to see Wally not snatch up Rask as soon as it was available on here. Because if you go and look at his breakdown of Rask, he really knows what he's talking about with that character.
Yeah, what you say about his Rask build makes sense with what I was saying at the end of the last match, where they very much prioritize that energy.
Yeah,
they view ultimates just so powerful.
Well, and
so important to
and with
maximizing games.
And with that particular Rask build he provided, I mean, it would be 100% conceivable to have an ultimate 4 to 5 times a match, no problems.
Yeah, and they want to win earlier, I believe. They're on just make it happen at some point within the 20 rounds. They're not looking to go past 20 rounds.
Well, yeah, and the faster you can win, the less time you have to worry about losing.
Yeah.
So,
but we're in their least favorite map now, if I recall correctly. As you said, it's the one that anyone has ever come close to beating them on is on this one. So
yeah, it's pretty much anytime you've ever seen Trash stumble, it's happened on Cloudspire. Obviously, they prefer the larger maps because if they can escape just a little bit, it gives them a chance to build themselves back up because they are 100% team-oriented. They have ways to, bring themselves back up once they get into trouble. And, of course, we've got Rude is the blue team here with Trash being the red team. Iujoki, of course, running right into the middle of Trash. As Rask, he should get plenty of energy from this, but he may live to regret it. Although he is getting 40 shields from Finn all the way across the map. Another one of the things going on with this is you can cast abilities the entire map length almost. Wally taking 21 in cover damage from Blackburn. And he is then going to reach out, grab that might, and do 22 to Iujoki. Followed by 12 to Iujoki and Skiros from that drone. Skid Row throwing out some sticky bombs to nowhere. And of course, Wally going to get knocked back from Rask, who's then going to run right up into that trap.
Yeah, this is a good position for where Rask wants to be, that's for sure. And looks like a 3v1 going in and down against this Gray. So Gray's going to have to decide how it wants to fight. I mean, she does have double dart. She can try to continue with this fight, but probably take a little bit more damage than she wants to. We'll have to see how that goes. Asana is definitely not where she wants to be at this point. A little bit out of position, but this is pretty standard play for how they go. They go the 3-1 as far as either end of the map is concerned.
And of course, we do have Asana dashing in to Blackburn, dealing 25 to him and going to be chasing him now. Safil taking 10 from the bubble, and then Iujoki taking 28 before dealing 24 to Safil and 20 to Wallalaw. Safil responds with 32 back to him, as well as Wally doing 28. Skiros, of course, missing with that Blackburn. And now Iujoki's sitting there at half health, but also at 75 energy with Rask, but he has almost no vision on anybody except for the quirk he's tethered to.
Yeah, that's Celeste. The Celeste grenades definitely punishes people who tend to try and just follow instead of planning out their own movement. So it's working out a lot. They've been utilizing that vision denial extremely well.
Of course, Wally getting 12 from that tether. Earthrat doing 25 to Craner, but taking 12 back himself with Retribution. Safil doing 32 to Iujoki, and then taking 24 back.
Sleep tight.
Wally missing completely, and of course, Avaki doing 34 to Skiros. Craner also dealing out 25. Skiros doing a spray into the smoke, but hitting nobody, and Avaki taking 22 from Zuki.
Yeah, and now Finn's being chased down by this Asana. Again, not exactly in the position he wants to be. He's not able to support the Rask, who's dying at this point, quite frankly. And Blackburn again isn't even in necessarily the best position himself. He's got no cover against Celeste. Can expect some damage coming in there, but the duel over between Zuki and Gray down on the other side of the map might actually be something that goes in Rude's favor.
So Rask finally opting to use his shields, but Wally also using his shields as well, expecting quite a bit of damage here. Of course, Blackbird dashing out to do 10 in cover damage to Craner, while Rask deals 20 to both Safil and to Wally there. And of course, Raz then taking about 55 in damage from both of them. Craner doing a root and 24 in damage to Finn. Skid Row doing 34 to Zuki, who I believe also did 22 in damage to him as well.
Yeah, it was 22 back. That's correct. So now it'll be interesting to see how exactly Rask decides to try to survive. Ult is up. Can expect that to obviously get dropped down this turn. But again, Celeste is still right on him. Quark can potentially dash right out of this ult anyhow. It's a dicey proposition, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it does look like Iujoki does have Blood Rage, so he doesn't have the option of when he can drop that Rask ultimate. So it will be going down this turn regardless. Lots of shields going up, and there goes Wall dropping a trap down, hoping to catch a dash maybe. Skiro's catching a weak dart, and of course Iujoki dashing into Craner, while Skiros throws a grenade for 25 damage on the Quark. Iujoki's ultimate going out, doing 20 in damage to Craner, while Avaki takes 26 from Zuki there, and then deals 17 damage to Iujoki. 32 damage going out to Skiros, followed by 38 from Celeste, and another 28 from Craner, making him dead. Trash takes the first blood.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Unfortunately, Iujoki, it's obviously on accident, but tends to quite often jump into some place where he's taking damage that he doesn't need to end up taking, unfortunately, one way or another. So that time took Gray damage didn't need to take, as well as a slice from Asana that he didn't need to take.
Now
he probably get a little bit disheartening after a while.
Well, and he has put himself in not necessarily a bad position, considering that he uses the all-at-once heal, and then also got a bubble there, which kind of helped out with that a little bit. But 25 damage from Craner as he dashes out, and then some smoke damage going to Dr. Finn, while Zuki opts to do a sticky bomb before taking 34 in damage from Skid Row. I'm sorry, from Avaki.
Yeah, it's just this energy gain. The energy gain is gonna spell the end of it. If you look at trash players, almost all of them are full, if not like extremely close, and will be next turn. Whereas the opposing team, whereas Rude, their frontliners are just a little bit short as far as that's concerned. Granted, it doesn't like look like the biggest amount if you're just looking at the bars, but it's a substantial amount when you consider how to shift a game in your favor.
Reap your just reward.
There goes Safil doing 22 and healing. Skid Row just jumping out of there, not feeling the duel going on, while Wally snatches up that might. Craner doing 28 damage to Rask and 14 in cover. Avaki taking 30 damage from that sticky bomb while dropping his ultimate, which misses Skid Row completely because of the dash. And of course, looks like they are all converging onto Avaki here, trying to lock down a kill.
Yeah, but Quirk has gotten in good position to make sure that he can switch his tether and ultimate in the next 2 turns if he chooses to. And the Celeste looks like he's can get some good shots down with the bush being broken on Zuki. Knows exactly where he is.
And then Craner coming in with the ultimate, grabbing a shield on Avaki for even more damage mitigation, while Safil throws out the ultimate for 32 healing. Skid Row throwing out the big one to land right in the middle there, just in case Avaki tried to dash out. Of course, they all did their catalysts, and no one did any damage with this. Took any damage from Craner's ultimate. Wally taking the eels for 11 in cover damage, who's then going to throw out his ultimate to hit nobody but Earthrat, who takes 50 damage through cover.
The big one made sense from a tactile standpoint, but probably because they didn't see the vision, or they didn't have vision on Quirk. They didn't know that the healing would be coming in as well as the Asana ultimate, so they thought that Gray may be trying to escape to just negate all the damage just with a simple dash. So they made a misread there that was mostly the result of not having the best vision control.
And there we go with Craner taking 35 damage from Skid Row. Down comes that big one, hitting nobody. And of course, Iyojoki doing a little second win there, while Avaki taking 26 and Safil taking 20 from that spray. Blackburn then taking 34 for his troubles. Earthrat doing 25 to Wallalal, who then deals out 48 to Skid Row, followed by 24 from Craner, taking second blood to Trash.
And now Finn's standing on a trap and is in a 2v1. Not exactly where he wants to be. Like, good on them for trying to make sure that they can start getting some of the power-ups away from Celeste, but don't think it's going to work out very well for them.
Well,
the 2v2 going up top between the Quirk and the Gray may go a little bit more in their favor, but Gray has darts up, and both of them have dash still. They will be able to buy time for their team to come back and help them.
And then we got Wally doing 38 to Earthrat. Skiro's gonna do a spray here, only doing 16 total in cover damage. Same thing with Rask, only doing 16 total in cover, while they return with almost a little over 70 damage on Blackburn, leaving him with single-digit health.
Yeah, the follow commands are not something I would necessarily agree with, especially on firepower freelancers. It seems a little bit. It's as though you're not relying on your own positioning, right? You're just being dragged around from the opposing team. Granted, I understand why he wants to chase this Cork, but just get in a decent firing position. Don't just follow around, because it's probably spelled his death this turn.
Yeah, we got Skiro's doing a dash, taking or missing out on that Quark dash, but also getting 15 shields from it just in case. He's then going to take 22 damage, surviving with 1 health. Iyojoki doing his ultimate there, but not hitting anybody because of the dash. Earthrat then taking 28, getting finished off by a drone for the 3rd kill to Trash.
Yeah, so this 4th one will be coming in. He won't be able to flash far enough away to get away from this Quark, quite frankly. And even if he does try to get on the other side of the wall, Gray's right there. Can expect she'll cover that segment. So Not sure how Rude's gonna be hoping to get back into it this time around.
So at this point, Skiros has only got 2 health while on a Quark Tether. He is pretty much out of the game unless he decides the Catalyst, though I don't know if he could even get far enough away to break the tether. We have Ras dashing in, dealing 20 to Safil, while Craner does 31 to Skid Row with his own dash. Both Safil and Craner taking 44 damage, while Skid Row throws out the sticky bombs, putting it on Wally. Skid Row then taking 22 from Wally's smoke bombs, and Avaki missing with his gray, and then 32 damage going on to Blackburn from the tether, putting him down and making that the 4th kill for Trash.
Yeah, so now Zuki has to try to figure out how she's going to survive this time around. Gray already has ult back up after using the cage not even that long ago. She's just getting a whole lot of damage down from the drone, as well as just basic attacks. Energy, energy, energy. That's what Trash seems to be about, just getting it all.
Well, not to mention we got Skid Row stuck over there. Does not have any kind of dash until next turn, as they've already used their Catalyst. So we can expect to see them probably focus down in this one single turn. Wally take a 38 from those sticky bombs. Skid Row deals 60 out to Craner for 22 damage, but is then going to take a death from multiple attacks from Trash, making it 5-0 once again in a full sweep for Trash against Rude.
Just asserting dominance. First showing of second season in 2-0. Not surprising.
Well, Trash has repeatedly said that they had an undefeated record in Season 1, and they intend to keep it for Season 2. So far, they've been holding that word.
Yeah. I don't really know what else to say, but I mean, damage numbers all solid. Healing numbers to be expected, right? It's a shutout. I don't know what you'd like to add about that.
Well, I mean, it's once again, let's just look at the damage numbers. It wasn't nearly as considerable as it was last time, but, the lowest damage number came from support, 214, while the 2 highest was Rask and Zuki at 241 and 44. I mean, everybody else was considerably higher than that. Even Avaki, who spent most of the game distanced from where all the action was as Gray, was still able to pull out 281 with just random pot shots.
Yeah, was getting some good deeps down, that's for sure. Oh,
So
did I?
All right, looks like we're joined by Craner from Team Trash. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing really well today.
Yeah, how do you feel about that last victory there?
It felt pretty good, gotta say.
Yeah, so everybody knows who you guys are, but what your record is, but how do you feel about some of the new teams that have been coming in here, specifically Rude? How was your feeling towards how they were playing today?
My feelings towards how they were playing, just in general, in terms of gameplay?
Yeah, just,
or?
did you see anything that they might improve on to, help them out next time they go up against Team Trash?
If they had one thing that they should work on to make the biggest strides between this week and next week, what would you tell them to do?
I often think this regarding most teams, and every team can work on it, even we can to an extent, but it's positioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of cases when cover wasn't utilized to its full extent, and they had to pay for it.
Yeah. Definitely noticed that they were just following quite a bit, which tends to take people out of position quite a bit. And you guys, of course, were going with full-on Trash tradition of taking no prisoners.
Yeah, just constant punishing. Well done.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's not sure what to go, but what are you guys planning for the rest of the season? We were talking about how you guys were saying you were going to go undefeated for a full other season. Are you feeling okay with that statement so far?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna try. It's gonna probably be the same in terms of our matchups as far as I've seen, but we might get surprised.
Well,
Did you watch any of the games last night? Do you have any?
I actually
worries
didn't,
about those
because
guys?
no, I'm actually a EU person, so the times for yesterday's matches
Fair
were
enough.
pretty late.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I actually did have a question about your second pick ban phase. Is Trash through prioritizing Rask? Is that not something you're concerned with anymore?
We do prioritize Rask, but
Gray more
it's not
so?
something we would usually first pick. No.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
I
yeah,
thought it was one of these things where we're not seeing a lot of Rask regularly, so you're just like, I doubt you've practiced Rask enough, so we'll let you have it. That was kind of the thought process I thought you guys were having.
No, we had. I know you didn't watch this, but in the first matchup, we actually got Rask in one of the games.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I don't blame you for not watching them because you were busy commentating.
So, and how do you feel actually about that second game pick ban phase where it seemed like Rude took two of the Lancers that you guys tend to prioritize, both Rask and Finn?
Right, they opened up with Rask and Finn because they're second. Yeah, so they double picked. You're right. Yeah, no, there was nothing much to it. It just happened, and we just went with our normal ban and pick, and there was nothing much to think about.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it seems like
you guys
yeah. I was like, it seems like you guys do really well with getting Lancers that you want or can play very well with almost every single game.
Yeah, we thought a lot about this, and we nearly have a flawless system for it. So.
Yeah, you're pretty consistent as far as it's like this is what we'll get in an ideal situation, and then your audible is still extremely strong. So makes sense.
So, all right, well, Craner, once again, congratulations to you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys progress through the season, and so far undefeated through week 1 in season 2.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So, all right, well, thank you.
Thanks again.
All right, looks like we are done for the week on YouTube here. Once again, I'm Septimus. This is Siege Lord. We are doing Season 2, Week 1 for Prep Phase. Have anything to say to the folks before we head out?
No, I'm just glad we at least got one trash game because that means that people were forced to listen to us. That was good. Appreciate that.
So, all right. Well, thanks so much, everybody. Of course, Twitch is still going on. They've got the live stream there at twitch.tv/prepphase. That's all one word. So head on over to finish up the rest of today's games. And of course, we will see you all back next week for Season 2, Week 2 of Prep Phase. Thanks for watching.